The Thoroughbred, a truly magnificent animal. The bloodlines trace back centuries to three foundation sires, the Darley Arabian, the Byerly Turk, and the Godolphin Bard. The Thoroughbred was bred to do one thing, to race. And what incredible thrills these sons and daughters have provided us as we look back at some of the greatest races in thoroughbred racing history. ESPN presents The Great Races.
And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, ESPN's host for Thoroughbred Racing. In the next half hour, we're going to show you some of the Sport of Kings' crowning moments. With the help of the Daily Racing Form and Blood Horse magazine, we've compiled a list of great races. Now, quite obviously, it is not intended in any way to be a complete list. We understand every race fan has his or her favorite. We hope, though, we'll bring back some of those memories for you and maybe add a few to your own list of great races. Now, it is said a great race requires circumstance as well as outstanding performances on the track.
Those two elements came together on June 10, 1978, the 110th running of the Belmont Stakes in New York. Affirmed was going for the Triple Crown sweep for Louis Wolfson's Harbor View Farms, Hall of Fame trainer Laz Brera, and the kid, jockey Steve Coffin. The challenger, of course, was Calumet Farms' Aladar, trained by John Veach, ridden by George Velasquez. In the Derby, Aladar's stretch run was a length and a half short. In the Preakness, he closed to within a neck. In the Belmont, Aladar would not wait, as the two locked up with a mile to run in the mile-and-a-half test of the champion. Here's Chick Anderson's call.
50 seconds for a half mile. Now we've got a speed duel beginning to develop. On the inside, Affirmed. On the outside, Aladar. And those two are letting out all stops. They're going on out together. Affirmed along the inside, Aladar on the outside. Heads apart as they move down the back stretch. Then they've opened 6 lengths on Noontime Spender and Judge Advocate, and the trailer is still Darby Creek Road. 3/4, however, went in 1:14. The pace is still slow. They're moving into the turn. Affirmed holding ahead in front, and Aladar on the outside is challenging again. It's Affirmed by ahead on the turn. Aladar is second by 4.5. Along the inside, Judge Advocate, Noontime Spender, and Darby Creek Road now beginning to pick up the pace. 3/4 went in 14, a mile in 37.2. The pace is increasing as they come to the head of the stretch. It is still Affirmed as they come to the quarter pole. He's holding on to a head lead. Aladar is outside of him and challenging that lead. The two are heads apart, and Aladar's got a lead. Aladar put ahead in front, right in the middle of the stretch. It's Aladar and Affirmed battling back along the inside. We'll test these two to the wire. Affirmed under a left-hand whip. Aladar on the outside driving. Affirmed and Aladar heads apart. Affirmed's got a nose in front as they come onto the wire.
The official margin, Affirmed by a head over Aladar to sweep the Triple Crown. And it was the 5th photo between the two in their 9 meetings.
Now, there have been closer finishes in the Triple Crown. Among the most memorable was the 114th Preakness. Dave Johnson calls for ABC Sports. It was the 1989 Race of the Year, Sunday Silence versus Easy Goer.
The first quarter in 23 2/5 seconds. It's fast, but not that fast. Down the backstretch, Houston with Cordero leading the pack by 3 lengths. Northern Wolf is second, and now the Kentucky Derby winner. On the outside, Sunday Silence takes second, and here comes Easy Goer with a quick move on the outside with Pat Day. Going down the backstretch, it's Houston in front by a head. Easy Goer, the favorite, up to challenge. Sunday Silence between horses in tight quarters there. Back into third, Dancel is fourth, Northern Wolf fifth. Rock Point on the outside, sixth. Pulverizing has had it. He's back to seventh, and Hawkster hasn't started to run. Midway on the turn, Dancel on the outside to the front. On the outside, here comes Sunday Silence to challenge. Now they're heads apart. Sunday Silence with Pat Valenzuela takes the lead at the quarter pole. Easy Goer back into second position. Dancel coming on third in the stretch. On the outside, it's Sunday Silence. On the inside, Easy Goer. And down the stretch they come. On the outside, it's Sunday Silence. Easy Goer with Pat Day. Back to challenge. Heads apart. Easy Goer on the inside with a slight lead. On the outside, Sunday Silence. The rest of them far back. Here's the finish of the Preakness. Sunday Silence and Easy Goer. Photo finish. Noses apart.
What a stretch duel with Pat Day on Easy Goer pinned on the rail. Pat Valenzuela riding the Derby winner Sunday Silence. The best of the East, the best of the West. brushed against each other, but Pat Day's foul claim against Sunday Silence was not allowed. His official margin of victory, a nose. To complete our Triple Crown, let's go back to the 1957 Kentucky Derby. The field of 9 that left the gate in that 83rd run for the Roses just may have been the best ever. The first 3 choices, Bold Ruler, Round Table, and Gallant Man, would all go on to be champions and dominant sires. But what was remembered most about this race is the stretch drive. Calumet's Hall of Fame trainer Ben Jones watched as Iron Liege under Bill Hartack tried to hold off Gallant Man and jockey Bill Shoemaker. They did, to win by a nose. But did you see what happened? Daily Racing Form chart caller Don Fair did. Now watch carefully, as Shoemaker looks like he's going to take the lead with Gallant Man in deep stretch when he misjudges the finish line. He raised up just for an instant, but it was enough to make the difference. Ben Jones' son Jimmy won his first Derby as official trainer for Calumet. For the farm, their 7th Kentucky Derby win overall.
That mistake Shoemaker made in that 1957 Derby was one of the few he ever made in his Hall of Fame career. But Gallant Man's owner, Texan Ralph Lowe, stuck by the shoe. In fact, he bought him a new car right after the race and then watched as Shoemaker repaid him, riding his Gallant Man to victory in the Belmont Stakes. The shoe was involved in a lot of great races that are coming up. One of his greatest duels came in the 93rd running of the Traverse Stakes at Saratoga Racecourse in upstate New York.
Shoemaker was on George Widener's Jaipur, number 2 on the outside as he duels with number 3 Rydan, owned by Mrs. Moody Jolly. The two were side by side for the entire mile and a quarter and were nose to nose in the stretch, with Shoemaker holding on for the victory on Jaipur as he just dropped his colt's head down right on the finish to outduel Maniakaza on Rydan. Some great races of the old against the young are coming up. It is called Against All Odds, the life-size bronze at Arlington International by Edwin Baguki that captures the essence of the great thoroughbred race. It is the finish of the world's first $1 million race, the 1981 Arlington Million. John Henry versus the Bart. Phil Georgieff has the call.
Around the far turn they go. The Bart racing strongly on the outside, puts his head in front. Key to Content down along the rail, second by 3, Madam Gay. Losing ground now in third, Match the Hatch in fourth. John Henry and Rossi Gold. Here they come, spinning out of the turn. The Bart has it now by 2 lengths. Madam Gay driving strongly in second. Key to Content comes back along the rail. Here's John Henry closing ground, followed by Match the Hatch. The Bart under a heavy whip. John Henry is charging. John Henry on the outside. The Bart down along the rail, Madam Gay. The Bart digs in under the whip, and the final move by John Henry. The Bart is still there. Can't split him. The Bart, or is it John Henry on the outside? We know Madam Gay was third. Awfully close. The Bart clinging tenaciously along the rail. John Henry running strongly on the outside. This one can go either way.
In fact, the network had it both ways. A quick unofficial had the Bart winning under jockey Eddie Delahousse. But the photo showed the incredible 6-year-old gelding John Henry with Bill Shoemaker driving on the outside hit the wire a nose in front. John Henry represented the blue-collar set of the Blue Bloods. The gelding by old Bob Bowers was originally sold for $1,100. He raced until the age of 9. When he retired, he was the sport's all-time leading money winner at over $6.5 million.
Race fans have always been fascinated by those battles of the old stars against the young. One of this game's greatest old warriors was Kelso.
In 1964, at New York's Woodward Stakes, the 7-year-old gelding on the outside was charging at the 4-year-old Gunbo on the inside in the shadow roll, with Quadrangle holding the rail. Gunbo had led all the way, but as they neared the 8th pole, Kelso, number 3, took the lead. Inside the 16th, though, Gunbo battled back and would win by a nose under jockey Walter Blum. Kelso, though, would go on that year to be named Horse of the Year, as he was for 5 consecutive years, when he won a total of 10 championships. Buried at Allaire DuPont's Bohemia Stables farm in Maryland, his headstone says it all about his accomplishments, and the phrase, "Where he gallops, the earth sings," captures the feeling his fans had for him.
Another great race of age and youth was the 1976 Marlboro Cup, when the 6-year-old gelding Forego, carrying the most weight of his career, 137 pounds, including jockey Bill Shoemaker, was giving from 18 to 28 pounds to the rest of the field. Dave Johnson has the call as we take you back now to October 2nd, 1976, the Marlboro Cup Handicap at Belmont Park, New York.
Honest Pleasure has the lead by a length and 3/4, and that's Dance Spell second by a half. Father Hogan on the inside, third by 1. Life's Hope is 4th. Romeo 5th. Now Forego 6th on the outside, and Right Mind is 7th. It's Honest Pleasure maintaining the lead by 2 lengths. Dance Spell is second by a head. On the inside, Father Hogan. Life's Hope is next, and on the far outside, Forego. Into the stretch. Honest Pleasure has the lead by a length and a half. It's Dance Spell second. Father Hogan on the inside third. Forego gains ground on the far outside. A furlong to the finish. Honest Pleasure has the lead. On the outside, here comes Forego. Father Hogan toward the rail. It's Honest Pleasure. Forego on the outside. Forego on the outside, and Honest Pleasure. Here's the finish. Too tight to call. Forego on the outside. Honest Pleasure on the rail. Noses apart after 10 furlongs, and what a finish.
William Rudy, riding in the Blood Horse, described Forego's victory this way. It was the essence of thoroughbred racing. A great horse, more heavily burdened than at any time in his career, straining to catch a younger horse, which also was running the race of his life. He caught him in the final stride. In 1984, racing started its championship day called the Breeders' Cup. In its short history, it has provided us with some great races. We'll be back to feature some of them right after this.
Welcome back on ESPN's The Great Races. The Breeders' Cup Day was designed to be thoroughbred racing's season-ending climax, to give this sport a championship day. That was never better shown than the 1987 Breeders' Cup Classic. It was a classic matchup of Kentucky Derby winners and of Racing Hall of Famers.
The favorite was the 86 Derby winner Ferdinand, trained by 74-year-old Hall of Famer Charlie Whittingham, ridden by 56-year-old Hall of Famer Bill Shoemaker. The top challenger was that year's Derby winner, Ali Sheba, conditioned by Hall of Famer Jack Van Berg, and ridden by the future Hall of Fame jockey Chris McCarran. The race was everything a great race should be.
Judge Angelucci and Candy's Gold moving together on the lead. The opening quarter went in 23 flat, 46-2 for the half. Those two are still going at it. Good Command kept close to them toward the inside. He's a Charles running third, and Ferdinand now has asked for more run. He'll need racing room though. He's on the inside fifth. Skywalker is alongside him, and now Ali Sheba begins to roll from the back of the pack, and the fleet has dropped back. There's a half mile to run in this Breeders' Cup Classic, and it is Candy's Gold toward the inside, Judge Angelucci, and Ferdinand to pick him up now on the outside third. Good Command is putting in his run toward the rail. Skywalker is still in it. He's only 3 lengths off the lead, and Ali Sheba continues to pick him up on the outside with a dramatic run toward the leaders. They are at the quarter pole here at Hollywood Park, and it is Judge Angelucci on the outside. Candy's going toward the rail. Ferdinand and Ali Sheba coming on from the outside. Good Command is in behind horses. They're less than a furlong out. Judge Angelucci desperate. Ferdinand right there. Ali Sheba on the outside. Ferdinand. Judge Angelucci on the outside. Ali Sheba. Ferdinand has the lead. Ali Sheba. A final surge. The two Derby winners hit the wire together. Ferdinand and Ali Sheba in a dramatic photo finish in the world's richest horse race.
Ferdinand held on to win by a nose and edged Ali Sheba for 1987 Horse of the Year honors. Another classic that easily fits into the great race category was staged at the 1989 Breeders' Cup at Gulfstream Park in Florida. It was the 4th meeting that year between racing's 2 3-year-old superstars. Sunday Silence, the Derby and Preakness winner, representing the West, and Belmont winner Easy Goer, representing the East. The Classic would decide the 1989 Horse of the Year title. Here's Tom Durkin with NBC.
now. Sunday Silence poised on the outside, third, Present Value to his inside. Then Me Selecto. Easy Goer is yet to do his best running. He is still 9 lengths off the lead of Slew City Slew. He's 5 lengths behind Sunday Silence, and now he's beginning to roll. They've run a half mile in 46 1/5 seconds. Slew City Slew weakening on the lead. Blushing John has been tracking him all the way. Sunday Silence bracing for the oncoming power of Easy Goer, who's right at his neck, and the stage is set with 3 furlongs to run in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Blushing John taking the lead, 3/8 of a mile out. It's Blushing John in front. Sunday Silence on the outside, gearing up now. He's left Easy Goer 2.5 lengths behind. They're coming to the top of the stretch, and Blushing John is under a hand ride. He leads by 1.5 lengths. Sunday Silence, a threatening presence on the outside. Easy Goer is set down, and he's put to a fierce drive. Coming to the final furlong, Sunday Silence surges to the front. Blushing John trying to fight back. Easy Goer with one final acceleration, and Sunday Silence holds on, and he wins by a desperate neck. Easy Goer was too late, not enough to win it, and it was Sunday Silence in a racing epic.
Now let's talk perfection. Legendary thoroughbreds like Manowar and Native Dancer were both beaten once in their careers. Citation lost 13 races. The immortal Secretariat was beaten 5 times. In the Breeders' Cup Distaff of 1988 at Churchill Downs, the story was the Ogden Phipps' own 4-year-old filly, Personal Ensign. She came to the distaff with a perfect record, 12 starts, 12 victories. What made it even more amazing was that at 2, she had broken the pastern bone in her left hind leg. Screws were inserted to repair the break, and 11 months later, Personal Ensign was back racing. Now, she was going for racing history, but she would have to catch that year's Kentucky Derby winning filly, the powerful front-running Winning Colors.
It's still Winning Colors, loose on the lead by 2.5. Shamsay is running second. On the outside, Goodbye Halo in striking position is third. Willa on the Move is Asked for More run fourth. Personal Ensign is still 8 lengths out of it. There's a half mile to run, and Winning Colors doing what she did in the Derby. She's still free running on the lead. 3 furlongs to run, and she leads now by 3. Goodbye Halo beginning to pick it up in second now. Shamsay is third toward the rail. Personal Ensign is putting her run in on the inside now, and she takes to the outside. 5 lengths off the lead of Winning Colors, who turns for home here at Churchill Downs. Stevens going to a vigorous left-handed whip, holding on by 2. Goodbye Halo is charging hard. Here comes Personal Ensign, unleashing a furious run on the outside, but it is still Winning Colors. Goodbye Halo. Personal Ensign a 1/16 of a mile from the wire. Winning Colors is there. Personal Ensign, a dramatic finish, and here is the wire, and it is Personal Ensign there with Winning Colors in a photo. Very close. At the 16th pole, it looked like Personal Ensign was facing her first defeat, but in those final 110 courageous yards, she certainly proved herself a champion this afternoon.
An incredible stretch run with Personal Ensign under Randy Romero, just catching Winning Colors and jockey Gary Stevens at the wire. Both fillies would earn championship honors in 1988, but only one was perfect. By a nose, Personal Ensign, 13 for 13, career earnings of over $1.6 million. Next, the greatest race of all time.
So now it is time to reveal our selection as the greatest of all thoroughbred races. Again, what is a great race? Is it great horses, great finishes, or just great circumstances? To our mind, though, none captures it better than the most famous race of our times. Secretariat's 1973 Belmont, as he attempted to become thoroughbred racing's first Triple Crown winner in a quarter of a century. It was a race for the ages. Here's Chuck Anderson with a call for CBS.
And we're ready to go for this tremendous Belmont Stakes. Everybody's in line, and they're off. Looks like the early lead goes to My Gallant. Yes, My Gallant going for the lead with Price and Prince on the outside. Secretariat away very well, has good position on the rail, and in fact is now going up with the leader. They're moving for the first turn. It is Secretariat. Sham on the outside is also moving along strongly. And now it's Sham. Sham and Secretariat are right together into the first turn. My Gallant has third behind them. Then it's Twice a Prince, and the trailer is Private Smiles as they go by the turn. Those two together, Sham on the outside. Sham getting ahead in front as they move around the turn with Secretariat second. Then there's a large gap. Make it 8 lengths back to My Gallant in third and Twice a Prince fourth. And Private Smiles is still the trailer. They're on the backstretch. It's almost a match race now. Secretariat's on the inside, by ahead. Sham is on the outside. They've opened 10 lengths on My Gallant, who is third by ahead, with Twice a Prince fourth. Then it's another 8 lengths back to Private Smiles, who is trailing the field. They continue down the backstretch, and that Secretariat now taking the lead. He's got it by about a length and a half. Still Sham, 10 lengths back. My Gallant, Twice a Prince. They're moving on the turn now. For the turn at Secretariat. He looks like he's opening. The lead is increasing. Make it 3.5. He's moving into the turn. Secretariat holding on to a large lead. Sham is second, and then it's a long way back to My Gallant and Twice a Prince. They're on the turn. Secretariat is blazing along. The first 3/4 of a mile in 1:09 4/5. Secretariat is widening now. He is moving like a tremendous machine. Secretariat by 12. Secretariat by 14 lengths on the turn. Sham is dropping back. It looks like they'll catch him today as My Gallant and Twice a Prince are both coming up to him now. But Secretariat is all alone. He's out there almost a 1/16 of a mile away from the rest of the horses. Secretariat is in a position that is impossible to catch. He's into the stretch. Secretariat leads his field by 18 lengths. And now Twice a Prince has taken second, and My Gallant has moved down to third. They're in the stretch. Secretariat has opened a 22-length lead. He is going to be the Triple Crown winner. Here comes Secretariat to the wire. An unbelievable, an amazing performance. He hits the finish 25 lengths in front. It's going to be Twice a Prince second, My Gallant third, Private Smiles fourth, and Sham, who had it today, dropped back to fifth. An amazing, unbelievable performance by this miracle horse. And look at Mrs. Sweetie. She's having the time of her life. She and Lucian Lauren, who own this most magnificent animal, who has today run the most sensational Belmont Stakes in the history of this race. Secretariat has accomplished the unbelievable task of breaking the 1.5-mile record by 2 3/5 seconds. That is a record that may stand forever. The time of this race, 2:24. Almost unbelievable. At the head of the stretch, Secretariat had already destroyed this field. As you can see, he was almost a 1/16 of a length, rather a 1/16 of a mile in front. And as he went through the stretch, Ron Turcotte, who never did anything but hand ride, never used the whip, made it almost embarrassing for the rest of the horses. I suppose you can't really be embarrassed by being beaten by the greatest horse in the past century. At the wire, Secretariat, all alone. And then it's such a problem to count lengths from that point. I said 25. It could conceivably have been more.
And it was officially 31 lengths. Secretariat's consistent quarter-mile times of 24 seconds is still considered the best example of sustained horsepower ever. It was a performance that will forever be a yardstick for greatness in thoroughbred racing.
The greatest race of all time, Secretariat's 1973 Belmont Stakes. Thanks for joining us on ESPN's The Great Races.